back to the show, everybody. We got Skinny G back in the house.
What's going on? How's it going? Glad to be back.
I'm good. How you doing today, man?
I'm feeling much better than I did yesterday.
Yeah, so we'll get into that later on because I actually got a funny story to tell you about my last trip last night. So anyway, but let's go ahead and start jumping to some current event stuff here.
Sure.
The raid or the search, whatever you want to call it, at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, that's something else. I think we talked about this before. I don't think that's ever happened in the history of this country where a president has been served a search warrant and had his place searched/raided.
I agree.
Yeah, they better have their ducks in a row. That's not exactly, that's huge on a number of levels. So they need to have their ducks in a row, and something better come out of it. Because if nothing does, then I think this is messing with the reputation of the DOJ.
Right. Well, I'm pretty sure that they probably crossed all their I's and dotted all their T's, or crossed all their T's and dotted all their I's, whatever. Because this is big. So they can't afford to be making any kind of mistakes here. So, and of course you're going to hear the supporters of 45. Well, they're probably playing evidence and this and that. I'm pretty sure, or at least I would hope, that they went in, had cameras, set up, sealed the documents, chain of custody. In terms of what they found on site, and I'm pretty sure, but then again, I don't know. But if it was me in charge, being like, look, we can't have any mistakes here, then I'd be like, okay, well, we're going to set this up as to where we've got footage of when we actually go get the boxes, what's in the boxes, everything's sealed up, et cetera, et cetera. So, to be determined, we're going to find out.
Agreed. Everything has to be by the book on this one.
Right.
Yeah, to me, it seems like they're not necessarily playing with fire, but they went and raided, a former president who's already dodged 2 impeachments.
Right.
Amongst other things, again, it better be by the book. The reasoning better be behind the book. The reasoning better be legit. Something needs to come out of this. Otherwise, like I said,
right.
DOJ's rep is on the line.
Well, yeah, there are lots of people who have to sign off from this on top of the Attorney General Merrick Garland, Christopher Wray, the director of the FBI, and then of course there's grand juries involved with this, and then you have federal judge sign off on this also. So this isn't just one person being like, oh, willy nilly, or some rogue feds going in and be like, oh, this is what we're going to do. These guys are just doing their job. Good,
sure,
bad, or
sure.
indifferent. It's just like with any other type of law enforcement agency. Yeah, nobody likes having their shit raided, but at the same time, they're just doing their job. And anytime there's a raid/search, that's signed off on the judge.
Sure,
or by
absolutely.
a judge. So.
Yep, absolutely. And so, and that's why I didn't go as far as really mentioning the FBI. They were pretty much just the weapons of the whole process that you just laid out.
Just tools of the federal government. That's all.
Absolutely. So they went in and did their jobs. It doesn't look like anybody got hurt. So. That part is good, but the rest of it has to be done by the book. All the paperwork, like you said, the collection of evidence, the whole nine, it needs to be done by the book. And again, I think something needs to come out of this. Otherwise, this is going to be catastrophically bad for the DOJ.
Right, and I think potentially for the country. So,
Yeah.
Staying with politics, and January 6th, Liz Cheney, she lost her primary last night. She gave a great speech though last night, and she is definitely seems like a dying breed of the old school Republicans, because this new Republican Party I don't recognize. Anytime there's anything law enforcement investigating one of their own members, it's deep state, conspiracy theory, stuff like that. When before, the Republican Party was always the party of, we're pro law enforcement, whether it's federal, state, local, what have you. So it's funny how things change, because before, it was always the Republicans complaining about the Democrats complaining about law enforcement, but now when they're investigating, some of their own potentially crooked people, now it's a different story altogether. But
Oh, sure.
I get back to what I was saying about Liz Cheney. Like I said, she gave a great concession speech, and if you get a chance, it's as one person called it on one of the news networks I was watching or listening to last night. It was definitely a barn burner, but it's definitely worth a listen, in my opinion.
Sure. Yeah, I'll probably give that a listen directly after we finish recording this. I don't recognize this Republican Party at all. I'm not going to say that party was my favorite at this point. I really don't have a favorite when it comes to political parties. There's agendas afoot that don't include the people of this country. I believe it's about lining pockets, but that's just my own personal opinion. But
Right.
this new Republican Party is not what they used to be. They used to be the law and order party, and I don't know what's going on there now. I even heard from a Republican last week. They wanted to defund the police and defund the FBI.
Yeah, go figure. And they were just going after, the Democrats, or some of the Democrats are like, well, we need to defund the police departments, which I don't agree with, but that's a different topic for a different
Sure.
episode. So this just came out actually. Mike Pence is potentially willing to testify before the January 6th committee.
I just saw that headline right before we started this, and I was going to go back and read the article as well. But that's pretty big as well, because he had a huge
Right.
part in those events, and it could have got really bad for him during the events of that particular evening. So
Well,
I'm
yeah.
interested to hear what he has to say.
Totally. Had those maniacs got a chance to get a hold of him, they had to strung him up.
Yes, absolutely. So, I'm interested to hear what he has to say and how hopefully he'll put out how he truly felt about that evening. And, maybe we can get some more forward movement on this, these hearings, because there's
Kind of
just a lot
connect
of
some
stuff.
more of the dots and, kind of.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely. 'Cause
Well,
right now it's
stay
just a lot
tuned,
of
folks. We're going to see what happens.
yeah, it's just a lot of people just throwing stuff, against the wall to see what sticks, to try to offset what's going on with this hearing. And we're
Correct.
also hearing a lot of truth, so I think Pence's words are pretty necessary.
I agree.